Hello and a warm welcome to the show. This is Pulse of Culture and I'm Sally Jastrzębska. A special showcase of Polish fashion took place in Brussels as Poland wraps up its presidency of the Council of the EU. Titled Eastbound, it was the first edition of a project that blends creativity, history, fashion and modernity. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with the visionary curator of the show, Karolina Sulej, an expert on all things fashion and one of our regular guests. Hello and welcome, delighted to have you with us again.
I'm also delighted and honored, and I truly feel like an ambassador today for fashion, because as you said, it was a really historical showcase, the very first showcase, the very first fashion show that gathered Polish designers throughout Polish democracy from the last 30 years for the first time together, showing off for the public in Brussels and not only.
Okay, so to give our viewers a better idea, what was this fashion show about, I want to ask you what kind of fashion did it feature and how did you go about selecting these particular designs?
When we think about fashion in Poland, we usually end up assuming that we, in this part of Europe, in this region, are destined to aspire to Western standards, Western fashion systems, the way they do fashion in the West. But I wanted to underline and show the amount of work that has been done, in each decade after we regained democracy, and how the system in Poland developed in a unique way, with a unique blend of political experience that we went through during communist times, the way it developed our resilience, the way it developed our creativity, the rebellious spirit, but also how we encountered tradition and how we produce our clothing, because we have great heritage of our not only artisanal work, but also of the work of garment workers in cities like Łódź. I wanted to show the very, I would say, landscape of various designers' ideas of what being Polish is like, or maybe more accurately, what Eastbound means, because I think, and I experience it daily, that Poland is like a hub today. It gathers not only Polish designers, but also migrants and refugees from Ukraine especially, but also Belarus, who end up in our fashion system, in our fashion scene. And I wanted to show how we blend all the interactions and inspirations together. I wanted to show that Poland is a brand that has to be reckoned with.
Okay, of course. And can we talk about something like CEE fashion, a regional fashion? What kind of characteristics do these designs have?
The design that is deeply rooted in Poland is based upon something that's getting more and more rare in the West, that is a very individual approach, not, I would say, sculptured by commercial attitude. So being very direct, being very artistic, like Arkadiusz, one of our greatest designers, so the spirit still lives on. But also, something that is happening right now is the rediscovery of our folk culture, how we are dressing in different parts of Poland, and how can we reinterpret our legacy, like lace, for example, work, or leather work from Silesia or from the mountains. How can we not reproduce and copy it, but make it fashionable, make it understandable? How can we use our identity? And in this fashion showcase, I had designers from Poznań, reflecting upon the heritage of Polish solidarity movement and creating a dress made from jeans, like a very evening dress, but made from jeans, from denim, like Jacek Kuroń iconic shirts. And also in the very dress, there were like voting cards selected and especially arranged, so to create this, this haute couture of democracy, to show our history literally through garments. But also we had street fashion from the brand called Dreamland Syndicate, showing T-shirts with bands, post-punk and punk bands from the 80s. As you see, it's a huge landscape that's been seen for the very first time, not only by people in Brussels, but I think also by the Polish state, by Ministry of Culture, because fashion for most of the time has been left out from the eye of the government, I would say.
Let me stop you right here and just ask you, because I mean, the first show took place in Brussels, but for those who are not able to attend or not able to see it, they can still do so, right? Because you're taking the show on a tour.
Yes, it was a premiere edition. It was something that we plan on doing and redoing, because, as I said, we have a whole landscape to show, and there are designers waiting to be displayed also and be a part of this Eastbound project. We are having another event already arranged at the beginning of September in Rome, but we are also looking forward to visiting other European capitals, and not only European capitals. We are only now starting to appreciate and starting to showcase what Polish fashion is, and I would really dream about establishing the whole institute caring for fashion, and now we have a chance because Ministry of Culture, I would say, developed through various instruments the Center for Supporting Creative Industries, and fashion is a creative industry, so hopefully we're going to see a lot of fashion events, fashion shows, and conferences about what does it mean to have fashion in Poland through Polish people, and also through people of other ethnicities who become part of our fashion scene.
Right, but getting the state involved, don't you think it's quite dangerous? Because, I mean, autonomy means freedom, right?
That's true, but I would say that the free market attitude is now something that we must tone down, because we then don't have an institution like, for example, British Fashion Institute that takes care of the level of the design, but also the design theory, that has a strategy of developing a message, a narrative for the world, but also for ourselves. I think we need to show people in Poland in general that fashion is not only a product, but is a way of expressing ourselves, and is open for young people, for them not to migrate to, you know, great universities of fashion like Central St. Martin's, but maybe to stay here and think locally, inspire local artisans, collaborate with them, because we have this whole, I would say, entirely unknown storage is the word for today. In store we have a lot of people waiting to be useful, because we have a lot of workers, a lot of people who are necessary in this thinking about fashion as a chain, as a process. There are not only designers involved, but also people who produce the clothes with their hands. And I think that this whole movement that it's visible throughout the world in fashion, that is slow fashion, responsible fashion, sustainable fashion, it is something that could be really of use for us, because we are way ahead of the West when it comes to this kind of activity, because we have been developing it for years, because Polish fashion is based upon mending and, you know, do it yourself, rethinking, relying upon community. Fashion as something that we can use to express our freedom, as you put it. Freedom is very important, and I think the West can learn from us how to be effective, not to waste, how to recycle. This is the message we want to go with forward, taking from the past but moving to the future with our technology and designs.
But how should we go about conveying it to the West? How do we do that?
I think that through showcases like that, of course, but not only. I think we should send designers for residencies, exchange designers in the region, introduce ourselves in the region, you know, just exploring the subject, and having an institution like this Center for Creative Industries, CRPK, Centrum Rozwoju Przemysłów Kreatywnych, which can really create a sustainable and recognizable environment for I would say, good. It would be great if fashion would be financed, curated, being lobbied also in the, I would say, the parliament, like just become something appreciated as an industry, as a part of our cultural landscape, and also a way to express how we want to be perceived internationally. For all the designers that were all alone, that had no support, and nobody even thought that we can develop communal narrative, but now it's being developed, and now they see that can be done. So I would say that the most difficult part is already done, because we started. Now we believe that we can continue practicing in the similar way, and also maybe writing books, making documentaries. It's a whole new world out there.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, now you've mentioned that fashion in Poland is not so centralized, right?
Yes.
So I was wondering, how did you go about finding these individual designers to then, feature them at your show?
I've been a fashion journalist and anthropologist for years now, and I've been looking all around Poland to find designers that are, for me, interesting and fresh. I'm also responsible for the show for TVP Kultura called Mody Polskie, Polish Fashions. So I travel a lot and look for emerging designers. But also through the years of my practice and my writing, I've gathered a lot of, let's say, intel about what is truly local, what is truly sustainable, and also understandable for the wider public. What is something that fashion doesn't forgive is blend stuff. Stuff that is already been done is just copied in a way that's uninteresting. I think fashion right now should be a performance. Seeing garments in your own eyes during a fashion show that really speaks to you, with scenography and sound. I think it's an experience that touches all the senses and shouldn't be looked down upon. We had, two ministries of culture, like Wróblewska and Czankowska. They came to us, they attended the evening, and were under impression that Polish fashion was something undeservedly overlooked, and now it's just high time to develop a whole, I would say, spectrum of ideas about how to get on with fashion and promoting it and talking about it, using words and images. So as you see, I am very enthusiastic about it. I think I'm speaking for a huge group of people that is really keen on practicing Polish fashion in various ways.
Absolutely. So it is all about authenticity, right?
It's all about authenticity, and it's all about diversity also, I would say, because now in modern times, I think we need to include a lot of narratives, personal ones, and see each other as not a rival, because it used to be like that in Polish fashion. Who's the best? Like, who's the most worn designer? Who is the most popular? But now it's all about the power of the collective, for me at least.
Right, and the variegated landscape, right? With all these creators. Before we go, very shortly, Karolina, could you give us some names to look up, perhaps?
Of course. So I already mentioned Jerzy Antkowek and his granddaughter Julia Kromolicka, but we also had established designers like Gosia Baczyńska and Tomasz Osoliński. We had Joanna Hawrot, who's also present in Osaka. We had a lot of names. There were 20 designers involved. The whole fashion show lasted for an hour and a half. It was really, I would say, a theatrical event.
And very impressive, right? So
hopefully.
Karolina Sulej, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Much appreciated. And thank you for watching Pulse of Culture. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.